Mitchell Johnson to the Johnson.
Mitchell Johnson.
Oh, that is Pearce. Oh, that's a goodie. It's a very good ball, that, and it's got his man. What a good bumper that was.
Yes, little edge.
To the Johnson.
Oh, quick, too quick. Vicious. Johnson is the destroyer. South Africa are in disarray. Ouch, ouch.
No, that's all. Absolutely fantastic catch that from Mitchell Johnson. Brings up his half century.
Coming at a very important time as well.
Needs to go on. He's bowled him straight through him.
Mitchell Johnson, he was sensational. Bowled quickly, bowled aggressively, got the breakthroughs when Australia needed him to.
We welcome you to bright sunshine at Supersport Park at the start of day 3 of this first test match of 3, South Africa versus Australia, and it's a test match so far that has been dominated by Australia after South Africa won the toss and invited them to bat, and they batted well. They got nearly 400 runs, and then it's been Mitchell Johnson who has been devastating. He was lightning quick yesterday, he was brutal, he was aggressive, he picked up 3 quick ones, he added another one later, he's got 4 for 51 at this stage, and the Lone Ranger has been A.B. de Villiers. He's 52 not out, he's played a different game, actually looked like a completely different game when he's been batting, such as the domination from Mitchell Johnson. As we look back at that card at the moment, he's got Robin Peterson with him on 10 at this stage, JP Duminy still frustrated with his 25, McLaren 8, he was the man last out, bowled by Johnson. And Faf du Plessis got one of the finest deliveries you will ever see. It really was a beauty. The skipper didn't last long either. But there's confirmation. Mitchell Johnson's got 4. Nathan Lyon's done a fine job too. 1 for 23 off 11 overs. And Ryan Harris, he himself said he didn't feel great in his first spell, but came back beautifully in his second. None for 33 off 12. He was bowling close to 150 k's per hour as well. Johnson, that ball to Faf was 151. And one thing for certain, it's going to be pretty fiery out there this morning. Australia will be pumped up. The ball, yes, it's 43 overs old, but they are 140 for 6 at this stage, and they are 257 runs behind after a couple of hundreds in that Australian lineup for Marsh and also Steve Smith. So it's going to be fiery stuff. First up is going to be intense test match cricket, and Kepler Wessels is alongside me. Kepler, good morning.
Good morning, Michael. It's been excellent cricket over the last couple of days. Always exciting seeing the likes of Mitchell Johnson and Dale Steyn bowl. You just can't beat quality fast bowling in test cricket as far as excitement and enjoyment is concerned. Perhaps not saying enjoyable from a batting point of view, but certainly from a spectacle point of view, it is really good to watch. So Robin Peterson, he's got a big job to do. There's Vernon Philander in next and Dale Steyn. They can both bat as well, but South Africa need to try and occupy the crease for as long as they can today. They need to try and extend the score as far as they possibly can as well.
Provide support for A.B. de Villiers. That's got to be the name of the game. Peterson plays a natural aggressive game. Philander as well. They might have to curb things a little bit. But they're going to have to try and get through to lunch and make sure that Australia don't get an early breakthrough. And hopefully from South Africa's perspective, it's not going to be A.B. de Villiers. So tough work for South Africa. Australia all over them at this stage. As I said, Johnson over 150 k's per hour. Harris at 147. Morkel at 147. It's been fiery stuff from the quicks. Good morning, Robin Peterson.
Well played as well by Robin Peterson. He watched it well, dropped his gloves, let it go through. So that was good technique. But a good first up delivery.
Sure was.
Certainly would have woken him up.
Absolutely. Opportunity to welcome Tom Moody, the Comdrox. Nice to have you back, Tom.
Thanks, Hazy. Yeah, a pretty much expected start by Mitchell Johnson. It's pretty much the tone he wants to set, and the Australians want to set early on. As we said in the pre-show, they're very keen to try to get early wickets in the first half hour.
The South Africans will know what's coming their way. They would have seen a lot of Mitchell Johnson during the Ashes. They would have studied a lot of analysis, and they will know what to expect this morning.
It's a very good follow-up delivery after the short one. This one going across the Robin Peterson. Had to play at it as well.
It's a lot about guts this morning. It's a lot about getting in line, making sure you fend off.
And on the offside, champ. On the ball.
Leg slip in position, also a short leg.
Over, gents.
End of the over, 140 for 6.
Well, Mitchell Johnson around the wicket is a tactic that he applied throughout the Ashes series against left-handers. It creates an awkward angle for the left-handed batsman into the rib cage, also across the outside edge, and brings the sips into play.
Yeah, I think Tom Moody is absolutely right. I think what we saw earlier there is the problem. If you play the short ball well, that's a good thing, but it's in that follow-up delivery as a left-hander that goes away from you. You're not always sure which one to play at, which one to let go. So he's found a good method.
Well, when the ball's not swinging for the left armer, he's creating that angle of the impression, or makes the batsman feel that the ball is actually swinging across him, but it's just pure angle.
Perfect foil. Peter Siddle, who kept charging in. He'll get in the right areas. Man catching short on the leg side as well, just to get AB thinking a bit. He really played beautifully yesterday, AB de Villiers. Looked in total control. Looked like he had time to spare against Mitchell Johnson, which very few players in the world can do. One of the things that Peter Siddle will do is exactly what he did when he got Hashim Amla out. In the right areas, just a little bit of movement in and getting through Amla straight in front. So that was terrific bowling to get rid of a high-quality batsman.
He's got a very simple strategy. Peter Siddle, he attacks the stumps, which is exactly what he's trying to do now when we look at this field placing as well. Referred to it yesterday. It's such a simple game plan that Australia have. They've got Siddle, who bowls straight at the stumps. Harris does the same. They keep the pressure on with Nathan Lyon, and then in short spells, Mitchell Johnson is the aggressor.
Yeah, the man catching is just very straight, short on the offside, and also a couple of guys on the leg side as well, which is certainly going to mean that line has changed from Siddle. That's where he's going to be looking to work.
Yeah, interesting field placements by Michael Clarke early on. You would think, though, with South Africa 6 down, that just the one slip for an outside edge early on. And we all know how good a player AB de Villiers is, but still he's got to get himself back in. But as I speak, he must have an earpiece in, because a second slip's come in and a field have come out of the offside into gully. So there's 2 and 1 on the offside.
Now, this track has done the odd little strange thing throughout this game. It was pretty good on day one, and we spotted about half a dozen deliveries that did something a little bit different yesterday in that first session. The variance of bounce was up and down about as much as 25 centimetres by the time we got to the stumps, and sideways as much as 15 centimetres by the time we got to the stumps. So there are some cracks that are in far from ideal areas. That one in particular, about 6.5 metres from the base of the stumps. If you're a right-handed batsman, it's a beauty. That is a really good delivery from Siddle, on the money.
Yeah, that was excellent. AB de Villiers had to play at that one. A little bit of extra bounce and movement away.
He's just the perfect bowler to the captain to say to Peter Siddle, keep the guys nice and honest. He's the guy you want. 140 for 6.
Yeah, that's the strength of the Australian attack. They complement each other. You've got the firepower of Mitchell Johnson, and both Harris and Siddle just probe away at a fuller length, and they commit the batsman to constantly play, and Lyons forever improving as a spinner.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see the influence of Lyons throughout this series. Of course, when you go to Port Elizabeth, he's bowled beautifully so far in this Test match. You get more incentive in PE. It's Mitchell now. Oh, that's a brute of a ball. That really is a brute of a ball, and he's picked up a wicket nice and early. Terrific stuff from Mitchell Johnson. Robin Peterson didn't know too much about that one.
Well, that's that awkward angle Tom Moody was referring to against the left-hander, in at the body. It was short, it was aggressive. Robin Peterson couldn't get the bat or the gloves out of the way, so that's the breakthrough Australia wanted first thing this morning.
It's a quick delivery right into the rib cage. Very, very difficult. If anything, you can only go under and get out of the way, but with leg slip in play, with everything in play really, batsman not established at the crease yet, trying to find his feet. But it's not going to be today. Peterson goes for 10. It's 140 for 7.
Right, well, that's exactly what Australia wanted to do. Wanted to pick up a wicket nice and early so they can get some of the lower order batsmen at the crease. Try and run through this lineup. Try and get that lead around about the 250 mark as best as they possibly can. South Africa right now trail by a plenty. And Vernon Philander, straight in the middle. Once again, he's going to know what's going to be coming his way.
That's another 5-wicket haul for Mitchell Johnson. It's been so impressive.
So outstanding stuff from Mitchell Johnson first up. He's got another 5-wicket haul. 5 for 51 his return at this stage. Robin Peterson departing means Vernon Philander has arrived to face the music. Scored some good runs against India in the series not so long ago. But this is a completely different story.
Left arm over.
It certainly is. He's going to be tested with some genuine pace here and at a very aggressive field. Michael Clarke's got 3 slips in place with the gully, short leg and a leg gully. No one really in front of the wicket.
Charging in Johnson. And pitches that one up first up, which gets Vernon off the mark. 11 5-wicket hauls now for Mitchell Johnson.
Well, we talked about it earlier this morning. It was going to be difficult for Robbie Peterson because of that angle. So really all he could do there was to try and get underneath it, as Tom Moody suggested, or perhaps take it on the body. But once the gloves went up with the ball, that's where the problems arose.
I'd be right in saying, Kepler, you would have probably just worn that one.
I don't think I would have had a choice. I don't think I would have been able to get out the way.
AB back on strike.
It's interesting, players like yourself, Kepler, another player that springs to mind, Justin Langer, sort of courageous opening batsman. You know, sometimes yourself and Justin Langer used to defend the ball by just staying in line and as we say, wearing it, you know, and just saying, well, okay, if I try to play it, I'm going to top edge it or I'm going to glove it. So I'll wear this one on the body and worry about the next one and then worry about the bruise at the end of the day.
Good shot, beautiful shot, nice and straight. Mid-off was straight as well, but he's played that superbly.
He's got so much time, AB de Villiers. Magnificent weight transfer through the shot and good footwork.
Yeah, at times we've got to remind ourselves we're watching the same game here, and AB de Villiers is playing at his own level. This is a classical straight drive.
Good shot. It's a beautiful shot. That really is high caliber from AB de Villiers to round off that over. 154 for 7.
So very good shot selection by AB de Villiers. The square cut is on. It's an attacking field placing. There's no third man or deep backward point. Just help that along its way.
Good shot. Beautiful shot from AB de Villiers. Got that away for another boundary first up.
Very good use of the feet again. AB de Villiers getting right back into the crease and placing this back foot drive exceptionally well.
We heard at the start of play HT Ackerman talking about the cut shot and the back foot drive, and the difference is one's played obviously with a vertical bat and the other with a horizontal, and when you play in between is when you get in trouble, and that was perfectly executed on a vertical bat shot. Vero Peterson, the top of the order, played in between that cut shot and that vertical position. And to get that vertical position, you've got to be covering your off stump and getting in line.
Steyn, Morkel to come. Slight change also after the boundary. First ball this over from Harris. Offside has been strengthened. And he's found that gap again. That's hammered away for 4.
One of the few poor deliveries we've seen Ryan Harris bowl. That was short and wide. AB de Villiers was never going to miss out on that. That was the cut shot this time.
Yeah, real warm-up deliveries from Ryan Harris. So the old body is starting to creak. The knees might be a little bit stiff, just loosening up. Just cannot afford to give any room or get too full to a player of this class.
I think this will now be another test here for Vernon Philander. Now that Lyon is into the attack.
That's brilliant. The footwork, the flourish. Fantastic cricket. AB de Villiers rocks on to 77.
Yeah, he does play spin very well. He's so quick down the pitch. A little bit of width that he creates. He thrashes it through the offside. It's actually just sitting here wondering how he was going to attack the spin of Nathan Lyon. He does play spin wonderfully well. He likes to be aggressive.
9 runs needed to avoid the follow-on. AB de Villiers and Vernon Philander have now put on 49 together, and in good time, 72 balls. No real spin out there for Nathan Lyon. He's switched over and around the wicket to try to change the angles. It's a good call. It's probably missing leg stump.
What do you reckon? I'm asking you.
I have a hunch it's a little closer than the batsman may think it is. Yes, they're going to review it. That's interesting. Michael Clark's got a couple of reviews in the bank, and he thinks, right, this partnership is threatening. Let's just have a look at this.
So the big key will be, does it pitch on line? Is it umpire's call? No, it's pitching in line, hitting him in line. I think that's going to be gone. Gone.
I thought so. I thought that was horribly close. What a review by the Australians. The third umpire will suggest to Richard Illingworth this should be overturned, because all the evidence from Hawkeye is that is out. It's hit him in line between wicket and wicket. It's hitting the stumps. There's the reversal. Nathan Lyon has the breakthrough. South Africa have just lost their 8th wicket. Vernon Philander, LBW to Nathan Lyon after a review. Thus, Dale Steyn comes to the wicket. The follow-on is still not avoided. Not that we think that is relevant, because Michael Clark won't enforce it. We're pretty much certain about that. But Steyn has a job to do. AB de Villiers unbeaten with 81, playing out of his skin. And he needs Dale Steyn and Morne Morkel to hang on in there with him as Hilton Ackerman, HT Ackerman, not Hilton. Well, it'll do, won't it? It's a chip off the block. All right, but it's a, you know what I mean. Chip off the old block. Robin Jackman, Pommy and Bagway here.
Thank you, Mark.
Right arm round, four's gone.
Right, I'm over then. Four balls to go in this over. Off the mark straight away is Dale Steyn. He's continued to chip away as Nathan Lyon. Very useful in this bowling attack. 2 for 32 as his figures. And contributes just about every time. There's a man there, but he'll just watch it go over him for 6. A.B. de Villiers.
Playing a completely different game of cricket, this fella, isn't he? It really is a remarkable innings, this. The confidence that he has and the sheer skill, wonderful footwork.
It was yesterday, I think, yeah, late in the day, that Michael Holding was talking about him, just watching him bat. He's had a go at that, and he's got it away. 4 runs. 200 comes up for South Africa.
A class of his own, A.B. de Villiers. It's full, and he recognises that he's got to deal in boundaries, and then on balls number 5 and 6 he needs to try and find a single somewhere to get on to the other side to prevent Dale Steyn from having to face too many deliveries.
We are field in now with 1 ball to go. Catches a call, and he's got him. Oh, that's a good catch. Really good catch that by David Warner. He's timed his jump to perfection and got rid of A.B. de Villiers.
Well, it's a pity, isn't it? Because it was the final ball of the over. You really felt that de Villiers was going to try and steal a single somewhere. But Johnson bowls a slower ball. De Villiers doesn't get enough of it. It is a good catch from David Warner at mid-off. Times his jump to perfection. But it's a wonderful innings that comes to an end. A.B. de Villiers, he's 4th man alone for South Africa. He goes for 91. South Africa are 202 for 9. Morne Morkel comes in last for South Africa.
Got him! That's him! From around the wicket, and Morkel couldn't get sufficiently behind that. Nicks it through to the keeper. A nasty delivery, and Mitchell Johnson ends with 7.
Well, he'd be pretty grumpy about having nicked this. I mean, he had every right to miss it. And then you're allowed to play and miss when you're number 11. First ball he gets, climbs on in a bit, he has a little stab at it, and he finds an outside edge. Morne Morkel makes his way off, and as H.D. Ackerman was beginning the conversation, just to get his bowling boots on and come out and bowl again. How long for? The effect that you mentioned, H.D., is not necessarily in these 5 days, it's in the rest of the Test series, because these games are back-to-back. There's only 3 days between each Test. Fantastic performance. Arrived in the country with a lot of hype, arrived in the country with a huge reputation, straight off the back of a brilliant series against England in the Ashes, and Johnson's done it in the very, very first opportunity that he's got. He's run in and bowled quickly, aggressively and brilliantly. 7 for 68. Well bowled.
It didn't take too long for Australia to wrap up that innings this morning. 66 runs were scored for the loss of 4 wickets. South Africa all out for 206. The 2 stars today and yesterday as well, I guess, of Mitchell Johnson, 7 for 68. And A.B. de Villiers played absolutely superbly for his 91. It's the 8th time he's been dismissed in the 90s in Test cricket. But the story for South Africa is not a good one. 191 runs behind. And they're certainly going to have their work cut out for the rest of this Test match. The weather is looking pretty good for the next couple of days. And I'll be very interested to see how South Africa front up now after seeing the work that Mitchell Johnson did. He was magnificent in his performance with the ball. Let's have a look at the wickets that have gone down.
Well, the first to go was a real brute from Mitchell Johnson to the skipper. Quick, straight at the throat.
Yeah, it really was a beauty. He took him on with the first delivery, he looked to Paul, and that one he just tried to bail out at the last minute and couldn't do so. And Virat Peterson was a bit of a setup, actually, a couple of very good deliveries, and then he sparred at something that he will know that he shouldn't have sparred at.
Yeah, Mitchell Johnson set the tone against Graham Smith. Peterson will be very disappointed going at that one, and that one just took off. Not much Faf du Plessis can do about those. It stood up off a length, took the glove through to Clark.
Yeah, that's one of the best deliveries you'll ever see. Faf's got to consider himself a little bit unfortunate being the bottom end of that one, and that was great bowling from Peter Siddle. One just coming back a fraction, initially given not out, sent upstairs. They didn't hesitate, and the big wicket of Hashim Amla, plumb in front in the end. Great bowling from Siddle.
And then JP Duminy doing all the hard work, and unfortunately for him, throwing it away, looking to go over the top. There's that man again, Mitchell Johnson in the game, not with the ball in hand on this occasion, in the field, taking a good catch, running back on the line of the ball.
Yeah, certainly hard to keep him out of the game because he did that late in the day yesterday. It was a quick delivery to get rid of Ryan McLaren, just a little bit of a gap there between bat and pad, knocked back that off stump, but he was in the middle of a fiery spell. This is this morning. Straight away let Robin Peterson know what the story was, and he was gone for 10. So this is rampant stuff from Mitchell Johnson.
Banged in short leg in place, leg gully in place. And then a really good review to get rid of Vernon Philander. Not given out initially, and they had a chat. And ended up being pretty plumb. Pitched on, hit in line, and going on to hit halfway up leg stump.
So let's have a look at how it finished in the end. Steyn not out 7. Walker didn't get off the mark, and Johnson picked him up. But gee, there's not much there apart from the brilliance of A.B. de Villiers. But in the end, he scored almost half the runs. Just over 200 they got, South Africa. And Australia lead by 191. Plenty of time left in this test match. 71 overs left in the day's play. Conditions are very good. Track has played the odd trick, nothing too extravagant at this stage. I want to see South Africa fire up here. I think they really need to step up a couple of gears to try and match what we saw from Australia. Philander to start proceedings.
Now, there's no doubt they need early breakthroughs. Chris Rogers missed out in the first innings. He'll be keen to build on what was a good Australian summer for him.
He was tested with the short balls in the first innings and succumbed off Morné Morkel. Now that one's kept dead. Almost rolled.
I think you'll see it's definitely with that new ball that you've got the ball misbehaving. Once the ball gets a little bit softer later on in the innings, it doesn't do too much. But when it's new, you're going to see some variable bounce. The other one will keep low, the other one will take off. As a bowler, you just hope that these ones are nice and straight. Never seem to be, do they? Always seem to be the ones that miss the stumps.
Yeah, you're just looking from a bowler's point of view. From a batsman's point of view, they always seem to be the ones that are straight.
Quick single. Safely home. Rogers off the mark. Might have given his partner a bit of a shock.
Well, his partner's quick. Very quick, David Warner. Slow to respond initially, but when he got going, he flew, and he needed to. Warner also an early casualty in the first innings, so he'll be very keen to get the Australians off to a good start. He's again found some terrific form. The Australian team, a healthy average of 40, 500s in the early parts of his career.
Inside edge, onto the pad. Yeah, it was interesting in the first innings. He played a couple of nice drives off Dale Steyn, a couple of boundaries in the first over. One through the cover region and one a little bit straighter. And then he tried to pull one which wasn't short enough.
Yeah, a little bit tight, swung back at him, not short enough in length, and chopped it onto the leg stump.
I'm glad he didn't give him a send-off because they're now teammates in the IPL. So Dale doing the right thing there.
Sounds like a coach speaking that.
Stayed down as well. A couple of balls in this over have stayed low.
I think the key for South Africa will be the intensity. I mean, in the first innings, it wasn't quite there because Dale Steyn was under the weather. He had that stomach bug, and he was just trundling in. But I think they would have been motivated up in the dressing room with the South African bowlers, having watched Mitchell Johnson go about his business. They'll be dead keen to get out there and do some damage themselves.
There's no doubt also they realised they missed a chance when they got Michael Clarke out. 90 for 4 it was then, and couldn't step on the gas and pick up another quick one. Stoutly behind that. 1 for none. Yeah, Tom has just mentioned the fact there wasn't a great deal of swing, and I also talked about Mitchell Johnson saying he felt the same, therefore he changed his length and he bowled fast and he bowled short. Now Dale Steyn is one of those guys who's relying on swing. That's the way that he operates mainly. Very controlled, didn't get to full speed except for one delivery only in the first innings when he got out Michael Clarke. Most of the time he was around 135 k's per hour. And let's see if he can get a little bit of swing today and try and operate the way that he normally does. But South Africa, no doubt, will be looking to him to set the trend. He's got him. First up, he's got him. Trotted on. Rogers is gone. That's a big breakthrough. That's going to do a great deal for South Africa.
Exactly the start South Africa were after. Dale Steyn, first delivery, he picks up the wicket. Rogers will be a little bit disappointed. He's gone off the ball. He could have watched go through to the keeper. Bit of a nothing shot, wasn't really trying to hit it hard, square of the wicket, drags it onto the off stump. He'll be very disappointed. But for South Africa, the ideal start. Dale Steyn, he's pumped. That'll get him going. He's struck already. South Africa going to try and bowl themselves back into this test match.
The interesting thing about that, Steyn's delivery was almost 140 k's per hour. Rarely got anything above 136, 137 in the first inning. So already, first delivery. And we know what Steyn normally does. He normally takes a little bit of time just to get his rhythm right and to make sure he's in a nice groove, and then he sets a platform, sets a base and works from there. And that's a quick start from Steyn for the first delivery, and he's got reward. So this is bound to be good signs for Graeme Smith and his boys. The debutant, Doolan, now striding out. Was at the crease for a while, didn't kick on in the first innings. Looked pretty organised though. So Rogers has gone for 1. Alex Doolan has arrived. On debut.
Yeah, very new look. Australian top order with Doolan in at 3. Shaun Marsh in at 4. So certainly not the card you're used to seeing on the Australian list over the past 12 months. Doolan's been around first-class cricket for a long time, averaging just short of 40. A lot of big raps in Australia, particularly from one Ricky Ponting. He comes from Tasmania. Ponting talks very highly of Doolan and his skills, his technique. He feels he's one of these players that will adjust to Test cricket. Chris Rogers is a real classical opening batsman and normally would be leaving that delivery, and he'll be looking at that replay up in the dressing room and thinking, why am I playing that? One of the strengths of good quality opening batsmen like Rogers is their ability to read line, length and leave well early on.
Bit of a strategy here now from Graeme Smith. Australia certainly employed that leg gully a lot with Mitchell Johnson. Smith now with Steyn around the wicket doing the same. Also a short leg in position, JP Duminy. And there's a nasty thud into the rib cage.
That's got to hurt. And in the morning he's going to know even more about it. There's going to be a big bruise there. Thudded into his ribs.
Still 100 to go. And with Dale Steyn around the wicket, bowling with this pace and accuracy, it's a long, long way away. It's never easy when a wicket suddenly becomes a little bit uneven to whether you stand up tall and play it or you duck underneath, which Doolan tried to do there. This line of attack reminds me of a recent test match where Steyn came around the wicket to the Indians in Durban.
It's nicely worked. That's what he wanted to do, I'm sure. Now he's going to come back for the second. 98, Tom.
Well, let's just hope from Australia's point of view and Doolan's point of view we're still counting right down to the very last number. But it's not going to be easy because the conditions out there, particularly against the new ball, is testing for Doolan and for any player for that matter.
And the good news for South Africa is that Steyn is fit. He was down on the first innings with that virus that's going around. He's clearly fit today. He's found a yard and a half. One that rattled the ribs was 143 k's per hour. Last one the same. That's sharp as well, hitting the splice, but nicely ridden by Doolan.
This did take off a bit. Was well played, getting right across, covering his off stump. A similar delivery that Faf du Plessis got in his first innings, or he's only had one innings so far in this test match, but a nasty ball that bounced like that caught the edge.
I think the difference is that one hit the glove, so it's hard to control, whereas he rode that very nicely. He got his bat nice and high.
Slice that away on the offside. Chases on for Hashim Amla. One thing the Australians do is run nice and aggressively. That's what certainly Marsh and Smith did in the first innings. End of the over, 6 from that. Correction, 9 from that. 15 for 1. They thought about the elbow initially, and then they thought about the catch, and in the end they're going to get nothing out of it.
Yeah, bet each way. Warner looking to paddle that around the corner. Off his hip, it was certainly too high for the LBW. But, the South Africans are sort of inquiring whether there was a little bottom edge on the way through.
It's good yards made by Faf du Plessis. Dives in front of second slip, but no danger. Good shot, flicks it off his hip. That might go away to the boundary. Morne Moko gives chase, and he will reel it in. That's what makes Warner such a difficult customer. When you are that short and your length's just back of a length, he manages to punch it off the back foot. Leg side, offside. He's quickly onto anything that's short.
He punches it and it doesn't go for one. For a lot of players, they work it through the field like that and it'll go for one and they get off strike. Warner actually, as he quite rightly said, punches it and it flies off that bat. It's a big bat he's got in his hands. And that one's a 3.
I read an interesting story, Tom, about Dave Warner when he was growing up as a child, and he says that he was delighted one day when his dad bought him a bat. Freely admits that he didn't come from an affluent background. His dad bought him a bat, and it was a bat that he only used in games. He had a bat that he just put away all the time and just used in matches, practices. It was someone else's bat he used to borrow, or any old bat from the kit, but it was only in games. And he said because of that and how he treasured that bat, lasted him for 2 years before it finally broke. He now carries 6 bats in his kit and always has another 5 or 6 bats in his hotel room, he reckons.
We've discussed how Ryan McLaren gets natural variation, but this is when he gets it right. Comes out of the hand, the seam's in a good position, doesn't undercut it in any way, and then ends up straight into the right-hander. That's what he needs to do more of. Sometimes he just falls away, arm goes over the perpendicular, and he pushes the ball into the right-hander, which allows for easy pickings on the leg side. That last delivery there, that's exactly what he's after. So what you're saying about Warner is he's one of those guys who's always searching for the ultimate willow, is he?
I thought it was the case that all of us, when we were young, we only had the one bat. We had to preserve it. I remember when I was young, actually used to knock up sometimes, still with the back cover on, because I didn't want to damage the face of the bat. Were you one of these privileged young kids, were you, Hazy?
Yes.
You had about three
Two
or four
or three,
of them.
did you?
Hey?
I think it was sometime into his school career when he finally got his own bat, after having to borrow one for a long time, and the answer to that, Tom, is no. 18 for 1. That is lunch on day 3. So what an interesting session that has been this morning. It didn't take long for Australia to wrap up South Africa, and now South Africa have made some inroads, just the 1 wicket, but they've been good. They've been much better than what we saw in that first innings. So 5 wickets going down in this session. 84 runs have been scored. Warner took some time to get off the mark, and Doolan, 21 balls, he's been out there, and he's on 3 at this stage. But this is all set up for a terrific afternoon of Test match cricket. It was much better intensity from South Africa at the start of this innings, but they know that they are well behind the 8 ball and have a great deal of work to do to get back into this game at the moment.
Welcome back to SuperSport Park. It is the second session of day 3 of this crucial Test match between South Africa and Australia. Now the news is that Australia lead by 209 runs. They've got 9 wickets in hand, so they've had a good time of it over the initial part of this Test match. With me is HD Ackerman. We'll be joined shortly by Mark Nicholas as well. But HD, your thoughts?
Yeah, Kepler, I know it sounds cliched, but I think that this is definitely the most important session of the Test match for South Africa. They can't afford to wait for the afternoon one. They need to strike, and they need to strike often, because with a lead of 209, they certainly won't want to be chasing anything in excess of 400. Yes, they've done it before against quality opposition, against Australia, in fact, but this surface is a little bit different, and Mitchell Johnson is a whole different bowler from what he was a few years ago.
So on the other hand, Australia would like to make the game safe first, and they'd get into a position where they can think about a declaration either late this evening or more likely at some point tomorrow. So Alex Doolan, he's in at number 3, came in pretty early as he did in the first innings, faced 21 deliveries. So far he's there on 3 not out. And with him is David Warner, who now is on 12, missed out in the first innings. So this partnership for Australia also important, just to settle things down and then look for a possible victory target.
He's such a big player now, David Warner. The pace that he scores at, he can take the Test match away from South Africa completely. And, in a session, that's the destruction that he's capable of.
It's been a better effort from South Africa with the ball. So far, Dale Steyn has looked pretty good. Been more aggressive, feeling a lot better clearly, and looking strong.
Yeah, well, we said during the lunch break when I was downstairs with Michael Holding and Tom Moody that you kind of feel this next session may well determine the match. Either Australia pull away and hit another gear, or South Africa bomb them and get back into this game. You sort of reckon 4 or 5 wickets need to fall in this session for South Africa to be really involved. Well, that's the problem for the South Africans. Warner will counter-attack here. He knows that South Africa will throw things at him, and he'll throw plenty back.
Particularly when South Africa employ an attacking field placing. So this delivery was a fraction too wide. And David Warner, he's not scared to throw the kitchen sink at it, but that was a well-controlled square drive.
Well, he did this in the Ashes, Kepler. He just when England thought they might be in the game after the first innings of the match, without ever quite playing at their best, England were in the game. Warner's second innings performances in Brisbane specifically were just extraordinary. There's a lot of power in this man.
That's a long half volley from Dale Steyn. Yes, it is a good shot. does hit it very hard. Difficult for Graham Smith as well as a captain, understanding that he needs to take wickets, but he also doesn't want to leak too many runs too quickly. So a balancing act for him.
A lot of time left in the test match. It's such a confidence booster for the batsman if you come out after a break and you start with 2 boundaries, back-to-back boundaries.
Yes, I'm surprised to see Dale Steyn bowl round the wicket, actually. I think that because there isn't much swing, the natural angle from bowling over the wicket, particularly if Warner wants to throw his arms at everything, might well be more effective. Blistering stroke play. For me, there isn't that difficult an equation for Graham Smith. He has to take wickets. Restricting runs merely turns it into a laborious business of when Australia would declare them. Whereas if he takes wickets, boy, he can get the wind up them. And that gap at extra cover might have to be filled HD, which is your point, I think.
Yeah, I'm by no means saying that just bowled a 1 slip and a 3rd man and sweepers. But it is in particular that this area, that cover.
Yes, Warner's unusual that he can score so easily off length. The best players can, but he's got strength as well as timing. So Smith has come a long way for a hardcore chat with Dale Steyn here, just to rethink the whole thing. They take almost like a timeout this in a baseball game. Just to, okay, hang on.
Yeah, it's a bit worrying from Graham Smith's point of view because Dale Steyn down on pace. First 3 deliveries were real looseness. So from a South African point of view, they'll be hoping that Dale Steyn steps up again like he so often has. He's going to change tactics now as well. He's going to go over the wicket, so that's better. And another fielder in a cover position, which is Hashim Amla.
Yes, that's that's interesting because you sort of think that he's less likely to be thrashed through extra cover from over the wicket. But anyway, they're taking a bob each way, I suspect.
That would have been better in the pace department this time, over 140, going across the left-hander David Warner.
Already on those 2 deliveries, it's been much harder for David Warner to play with a straight bat. The angles suit him less well. It's 30 for 1. No Morne Morkel yet, so we hope he's fit. We know that he went for x-rays or scans yesterday for that shoulder. The fact that he came back and bowled yesterday suggests he's fine, but he hasn't been given the ball yet by Graham Smith. Here's Ryan McLaren. No, more Dale Steyn. Got him muddled before. Just a point. There's a deficit of 191 to deal with. The score's now 31 for 1, so it's 222 in front. South Africa have won when furthest behind by a distance. The 4 highest deficits that they've dealt with are all against the Australians. In 2012, 188 was the deficit in Cape Town. In 2002, 148 was the deficit in Durban. Way back, 66-7 tour, 126 in Joburg, and then a famous match in Sydney. Kepler, you played in it, 93 for 123. And South Africa won all those matches with those deficits. And a beautiful little touch away from Alex Doolan.
Oh, it's good balance. So Ricky Ponting, when he played well, also strong off his pads. I'll be interested to see when Morne Morkel comes into the attack if he changes his approach, because he bowled 22 overs in the first innings. Only 9 deliveries would have hit the stumps.
High in the air, a difficult catch. Watch the ball and drop it. Dean Elgar just come out onto the field. Against this bright sky. Whoa, what a moment here at SuperSport Park.
Well, you got to feel for Dean Elgar a bit. As Mark Nicholas said, he's just come on when Dale Steyn went off. This ball was in the air for a long time. There's a bit of an indecision between AB de Villiers and Dean Elgar, who is actually going to go for the catch. In the end, Elgar got there and got there comfortably, but just couldn't take it.
No idea what he was doing 3 minutes ago. He might have been clearing lunch away. He might have, you know, there's a million things. He might have been running an errand, and suddenly, woof, Dale Steyn's off. On he goes, settles down at long leg. The ball is hanging in the air. South Africa are holding their breath. Oh, and what's that? Is that a little edge? Now Smith is very convinced. All except AB de Villiers. He's the only one who didn't overreact there. Do they review?
10 seconds.
Do they let what just happened get into their heads and force a review because they so desperately need a wicket? Well, someone's suggesting timeout. Smith has decided to review. They've gone beyond the 10 seconds, so the umpires are saying you can't. They've got 10 seconds to make a decision to review, and they didn't react quick enough. Well, we're hearing nothing on our in our earpieces from the stump microphone, and Snicko is not suggesting that there's any contact, so maybe Graeme Smith has got lucky. Maybe the 10-second rule has saved him a wasted review.
Good over by Vernon Philander, 38 for 1.
Well, it's just nice to see some real aggression from the South African bowlers. It's something that lacked in the first innings. We know that they try to run in and exploit the surface. They won the toss and decided to have a bowl first, feeling that there would be some lateral movement. Maybe they've taken a leaf out of Mitchell Johnson's book, because there's been some short-pitched and hostile stuff in that previous over.
229 advantage for the South Africans. For the Australians, I mean. A 229 deficit for the South Africans to deal with here. They have to, well, they just have to pick up wickets. That's why you can sense the desperation. You could see the chuntering from Philander as he walked back to his mark. See the look on Graeme Smith's face. Robin Peterson went to try to console Dean Elgar, and he just kept walking as if to say, I'm disgusted with myself. So we are talking about a very intense field of play here. A lot of cricketers right on the edge, knowing this match hangs on these hours. It is to be Morne Morkel instead of Dale Steyn, who's off the field. We wonder if he's injured his hip flexor. Short leg is just behind square. There are two slips in a gully. There are two men back for the hook. That's dropped at second slip. Unbearable tension at Centurion, and it's going the Australians' way.
Well, you can't afford to drop David Warner once, let alone twice. Will South Africa pay for the two opportunities?
Alvaro Peterson is the man at second slip.
It's talking about the Morne Morkel length, so that was the natural length, that back of the length that he loves to bowl. There was steep bounce going across the left-hander, so he did everything right there.
They get a single from it. Amla with a lot of good stops to both his right and left side in the gully today. Now, against the extra pace of Morkel, we'll see whether David Warner can contain himself, can stay in that calmer zone. That's a brilliant stroke, a thrilling stroke.
Not a bad ball, not a bad length. It's just everything about the shot of David Warner.
How to catch it. I wasn't sure there was any bat involved. That's where the Morkel's extra bounce is so difficult to handle. All thumping into that thigh pad. Might well have been inside edge. Lovely off driving now. This is the full gamut from Warner. 50 arrives for the Australians, 52 for 1.
Just 2 lengths at the moment, Morne Morkel. He's either short and trying to ruffle up the Australians, or too full. That's a wonderful stroke. Didn't try and hit it too hard, just punched it. Mid-off, didn't even move.
That's through the gap. Just 2 slips. And it's 4 runs. It's a good delivery. Another one of those full ones brought Warner forward. And the edge brings 4. 250 lead.
The problem is because he has not been bowling that length on a regular basis. His captain hasn't given him the fielder. 2 slips on the gully. He was bowling that length on a regular basis. He would need all these fielders out in the deep. Fine leg, deep backward, square leg, man on the point boundary. You could afford then to have more slip fielders. And although that wouldn't have carried into the slip as a catch, at least it would not be 4 runs. The captain is in a bit of a quandary because of the length that he has been bowling consistently.
It's gone fine. I reckon it's off the thigh pad, so it buys. Just a little bit too straight from Morne Morkel. Not quite in as good a rhythm as he normally is. Searching perhaps because of trying to get that bit fuller.
Comedy.
That's brilliant.
It's the comedy moment of the session. Morne Morkel thinks the over's up as well. It's all happening.
Fields it, looks around, then it slips out of his hand. The call had been no, then it was yes, then he starts to set off Doolan, but it's not gone too far away from Duminy. All of that, no run. Shot, beautiful shot, all timing, and he's placed it perfectly as well in front of point. Brings up an 11th Test match 50. It's his first half century against South Africa. He has 100 to his name against this opposition. He's played well here despite the couple of chances he's given.
He's a short man as Warner, which can sometimes make it difficult to find the right length to him, because if you're just fractionally short, he's onto it in a flash. Look at that. He's so strong square of the wicket, and he cashes in and brings about a well-deserved 50.
He's got 50 off 71. Got a pull shot out this time. As Doolan, he's played that very nicely. That's racing away for 4. That'll make him feel a lot better, that's for sure. So that's 54 balls he's now faced in this innings. He faced 51 deliveries in the first innings. Didn't kick on then, he'll be hoping he can now.
Yeah, albeit that he's got himself bogged down, there's no doubt about that, and that'll help him, you know, on his way for the rest of however long this innings is going to be. But he's still done a job, as Tom was saying. As soon as the hardness goes out of that ball, he came in the second over of the innings, so he's done a job while Warner's kept things ticking along the other end.
So wickets are key.
Catch! Cries of catcher, but it's gone over the top. Advancing down the track, they're going to look to attack wherever they can against Peterson, so he doesn't settle.
Well, it's been a strategy by the Australians really ever since Darren Lehmann as coach has taken the position. He's asked his batsmen to take on the spin bowlers. They took on Graham Swan in the last Ashes series and won that battle. He was a major threat to the Australians. A lot of talk about Swan to left-handed batsmen, but that suddenly came out of the equation because they took him on.
Flighted as well and hammered through the covers this time for 4. So that's 2 balls that have gone to the boundary. In the end, it's 9 runs from that over, 80 for 1.
Well, this is just the start that Robbie Peterson did not want. As Tom Moody said, the Australians didn't only... they said they were going to target him. They made it public. Doesn't come as a big surprise.
Now that's just taken off a fraction. It's been dropped. That certainly hit a crack. That's definitely hit something and taken off. Got an edge, and Graham Smith has put that down.
South Africa's catching has not been great. Strangely enough, of the catches that have been on offer, none have been straight. Well, one has been pretty straightforward, the one at fine leg that we showed you just now. That's a tremendous effort from him. He nearly got it. The second grab. So they've been half chances, but half chances when they're caught, they're invariably caught by the winning team.
And what happens in this situation, as that goes down towards a third-man fence, is that things start to get a bit of flat out in the middle as well. So that's run away for a boundary. It was a bit short and wide. South Africans are looking a little bit despondent at the moment. Not hearing too much encouragement from respective players.
See, that's the ball that I've got a problem with, just to be able to knock it off your hip like that on a regular basis. And now there's overthrows, nobody's looking. This is sloppy cricket. Really is. Dear oh dear.
Well, it's easy to say it's the Jackers as a ball you've got a problem with. Knock it for 1, he was lucky it wasn't knocked for 6. It was a half tracker that could have easily been pulled away for 6. As it turned out, they got 3 through error.
It's an optimistic shout. Robbie Peterson quite likes it, but I'm sure that's some distance outside the line.
Certainly looked like it, didn't it? Looked like he's not a big tall fella, but you only got to get it outside that off stump, which he's done comfortably. It's miles outside off stump. contact was a little bit nearer the knee roll with a straight leg, so that he might have got a bit excited about that, but not worth an ask, certainly. 92 for 1.
So 9 runs from that over as well. So again, Peterson is struggling. 3 overs, none for 19. Compare that to the terrific work that Nathan Lyon did for Australia. And I think that certainly puts things into perspective. It's gone down towards the vacant third man region. Faf du Plessis is going to chase that, but no, it's beaten him, so another boundary.
There's certainly a little bit extra bounce just outside the off stump for the left-hander. Seen Warner edge a couple that have gone to hand. This one again just bouncing a little bit. A loose shot, Warner not really getting across and covering his off stump, getting behind it, just opening the face and pushing out at it. It's hard to say he's intentionally run that down.
You just said it. But you didn't say it with the intention.
One of the terrific things about Warner as well, pugnacious character. If he happens to get away with something, he's going to forget about that ball that's happened and concentrate on the next one. He's had to do that 3 times today. His cursory glance at the track, he's a little bit concerned about a spot there that McLaren's trying to find. Let's have a look at the 3 catches. 26 he was when Dean Elgar, who just came onto the park, swelled underneath that one. 1 run later, and avoid Peterson at second slip. Grasped that. 51. Graham Smith grasped that one as well. If there's anyone that's going to make you pay, it's going to be someone like this.
There's no doubt Elgar should have taken that catch, but you have to sympathise. Oh, it's another sloppy bit of fielding out there. A little bit unlucky, sort of a ricochet off the stumps, but still things are just looking very unlike South Africa. Normally the South African team very disciplined in the field. But getting back to the Elgar catch, it's a catch that should have been taken. But he'd only been on the field replacing Dale Steyn for just the 3 deliveries. So having been in the change rooms in that environment, suddenly thrust it out in the middle, takes a little time to adjust.
Over the top. Short ball. Worked over the top by Warner. That's beautifully played in the end for 4.
I brought up the 100 partnership too. And it's a shot you don't tend to see a lot in Test cricket. Yes, you see it when the players are in coloured clothes, but Warner has played that beautifully, watched it right onto the bat, just lifted it over second slip. And that's a valuable partnership again by this pair.
Unless you're Adam Gilchrist, I suppose, Tom. Remember a couple of beauties that he played a few years ago?
Yeah, well, Gilly would hit it squarer than that, wouldn't he? And he'd target hitting it for 6 against. That was just like a little ramp shot over second slip.
High skill. It's a terrific stand this from these two. The track is misbehaving a little bit. There has been some luck involved, but the bottom line is they've done the business.
So he got out in the first innings looking to play away on the offside. Here it is for you. Chopped it onto the stumps. Very nearly did it again then.
This ball.
It's nice and fine, and that's gone for 4. The runs are coming quite nicely now for Australia. 9 runs off that over as well. 108 for 1.
Well, that's a good hit by any standards anywhere. Thanks for coming.
David Warner, what he does best. Terrific strike. He's had a little bit of luck in this innings, but he's so dangerous.
Well, it's just the most magnificent contact.
And if you can do your maths, you'll see that this is well beyond 102. Another beautiful shot there from Mr. Warner.
Yeah, that's really the best of Warner, when he just opens the blade at the last minute. He uses his hands to hit that spot wide of mid-off. Warner gives it everything. A very powerful man. Second six for David Warner. Rollicking along, he has 89.
Not the smallest boundary in the world in that direction either, but he had enough confidence in himself to know that he would clear it. I wouldn't actually say that came out of the middle of the bat either, but the trees that they bat with these days, the ball will still travel.
Yeah. And that should take us to tea. We'll wait for the umpires to call time. They do. It's not been a good day for South Africa. It's been an excellent one for the Australians. In 2 sessions of play, they've cemented their superiority in this game over the South Africans, knocking them over this morning and now progressing to 147 for 1, and with a devastating afternoon session. Not that South Africa haven't brought some of the pain upon themselves, but David Warner in particular with the 93 and Alex Doolan with 48 made life very tough for the South African bowlers.
Welcome back to Supersport Park, where we have 37 overs left in the day's play. We may not get them all in. That's the story at the moment, and it's not a good story for South Africa. They're going to do the hard yards now. Australia 338 runs ahead. They've got 9 wickets left in their second innings, and Warner on 93 not out for 115 deliveries. Rogers is the one man that has departed, and this is very early on. Just 1 run on the board for the team. He chopped that on from Dale Steyn and smartly walked towards the change room. Steyn was pumped up at that stage. It was a fairly brisk delivery, and he would have been inspired, I'm sure, by the work that Mitchell Johnson did earlier. But since then, it's been a situation where South Africa have put down some chances. 3 to David Warner, and they're really paying the price for that now. There's the captain. He doesn't look particularly impressed. Chopped into the covers, and that's got past Faf du Plessis. So all the pressure that was built has been slightly released. They have come back for the second.
That's the intensity part you're talking about. They've got to back it up, and it brings up
50 for Alex Doolan on debut. 27 in the first knock, 50 now in the second. Good stuff from him.
Yeah, little smile underneath that grill, and why not? First test 50. Deep breath. One little hurdle he's crossed. It was interesting just watching the intensity of that, and we'll get back to it at the end of or the start of next over. It's 149 for 1.
Marsh to come, then Clark and also Smith. Had an average 60 in the Test series. Lead by 340 now. Now, we all know that AB had a plate in his hand, removed. Injured that, I think I'm right in saying, a couple of years ago in the IPL, and had the plate inserted. It was troubling him. He had it removed and missed out for about a month, sat on the sidelines. It looks like he's not feeling totally comfortable. Warner is. That is a fine stroke through the covers.
Welcome back to the attack, Morne Morkel. It's a smashing shot. It's a little bit short in length, a bit of a loosener. execution of the shot, superb. So strong square of the wicket is Dave Warner, and there's another prime example.
'97. Runs are piling on. 152 for this pair now. 97 to Warner. Oh, that's worth a shot, that's for sure. The South Africans like that one. Did it pitch outside the line of leg stump. Out. Morne Morkel is striding down towards Graeme Smith. They got timed out last time. That's all it could possibly be. They have sent it upstairs to TV umpire Ian Gould.
Here's one of those ones that after it's hit, David Warner looked very guilty. Almost looked like he had got across, no problem with the no ball. It's all about whether it's pitched on. It's going to go and hit the stumps. Lands on a crack. Has it pitched on? Hitting the stumps, absolutely no problem whatsoever. It's all about whether it's umpire's call on where the ball is pitched. There's no bat involved. That was a long way from the bat. And you can see no inside edge, no hot spot. It's just going to go down. Hot spot shows just contact with the pads, nowhere near the bat. So you don't even have to worry too much about that. I think the key is, where is it pitched?
Yeah, there's no willow involved whatsoever. There's evidence, and this is the important one. Did it pitch outside the line of leg stump? It's hit that crack. It looks like it might have. Yes. Outside the line of leg stump, and everyone at Supersport Park watching that on the big screen are a little bit shocked. A big sigh at the end.
Yeah, it was great. They were willing it to get onto the blue strip. They were going, come on, ball.
They've been nearly pushing that strip across, aren't they?
They were all cheering when they saw the replays, screaming and cheering and saying that's out, and then suddenly when we saw the forensics from Hawkeye.
Good decision, Alim Dar. Frustration for the South Africans. They thought they had got through. Warner sitting on 97 would have thought, oh no, surely not. But he's still there to fight another day.
And if that's not a good enough example of the length that needs to be bowled, what we've been talking about, I don't know what is. And you know, Morkel has been accused in the past of being too short. That's a great length from him.
Absolutely. He's punched that through the covers, and he's picked up another 100. That is brilliant stuff from David Warner. Yes, he's had some luck, but he's made them pay. Another test 100 for David Warner. He really has played sharply. It's been a sparkling knock. 118 deliveries, 13 fours and a couple of sixes, and he's got a broad grin.
Well, number 6 for David Warner. He really is in some terrific form. The last 12 months has been a very good 12 months for Warner. He's come back into this side and he's shown that he's got character and he's got some class. He's talked at the beginning of the series and he's backed that up with runs on the board.
After missing out in the first innings as well, so it would have been important for him to make sure he capitalised in the second after all those comments, but he's played superbly.
There've been 2 minutes of mixed emotions. He initially might have thought, oh no, I'm out on 97. The decision goes his way. That went upstairs. The next delivery crashes through the covers to the boundary, and the elation of going to another test 100. Well played, David Warner.
And we talk about the emotions from the crowd watching the replays on the big screen. David would have been doing that as well.
Yeah, the trademark jump. Here it comes.
Snappers were ready. It's nice and fine, and that's gone for another 4. Leg buys, I think, is the going to be the call.
Warner's been doing this a few times, the recent. Make sure he doesn't do a hammy doing that.
Yeah, good on him. Well done. He's played some terrific shots. Serious piece of wood in his hands too, David Warner.
Yeah,
Yeah, so appropriate. It's got the word kaboom on it, because that's usually what he delivers when he does hit it.
End of the over retains the strike. It's another big over for Australia. 13 runs off that. 162 for one now.
Well, 36 overs gone, and one of your openers has got to 100. That's a pretty handy situation to be in. That's the value of having a player like Warner at the top of the order. Take the game away from you so quickly.
There it is, the kaboom to bring up his 100. Through the covers, the celebration follows, a la Michael Slater. And if not, why not? In fact, if you can get that high, why not?
Philander again. One of the concerns for South Africa, and they've got quite a few at the moment, is Warner and Doolan apply more pressure by coming back for the second. Nearly 60% of the runs scored in this innings have been scored in boundaries. It's gone away for another boundary. Just a little bit too wide that time. Chopped for 4.
Yeah, Doolan looks very comfortable in this area when it's short of length. It's a bit of width on offer. It's a good square of the wicket. Seems like he's got a lot of time. Here's an example. Just allows it to come to him, places him behind square. Du Plessis makes an effort. Doesn't manage to get hold of it. But really does look in control of this.
Kept a bit low. Was it sliding down the leg side? Mornay liked it. AB liked it. So did Graham Smith. But it looks like they're not going to send it upstairs to Ian Gould.
I think just nipped back too much.
They have decided to go upstairs at the last minute.
I think this is a brave call. First up, it definitely looked like it was darting down the leg side.
It's all going down to the evidence from Hawkeye. The original call is not out. Ends up being umpire's call. South Africa have lost all their reviews. So that remains not out. It's gone fine and it's gone for 4.
Philander continued to use this short approach, this time against Doolan. He goes on the hook. It's in the air for a long time, but he looked like he was in control, even though it probably didn't go where he ideally desired.
David.
A little bit of a top edge. And fine legs pretty square, no danger. Closes the eyes, as you can see, makes contact with the top edge. And it goes nice and fine, falls safely.
Might be a mix-up, direct hit and he'll be in trouble, and Vernon misses. Gee, he's had some luck.
Well, Warner wanted it. He'd set off. Doolan in defence, just dropping it at his feet. Warner was off. Doolan saying, no, 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 please. 3 stumps to have a go at. Missed all 3.
Vernon was even concerned that maybe Warner had changed his line of running, but I don't think there was any evidence from that replay.
Oh, that's a fine drive. That really is nicely played. Beautifully controlled through extra cover for 4.
Yeah, this is a quality shot. It's almost go as far as to say it's the best one he's played today. It's not a half volley. Yes, it is over pitched, but he's caressed it through the covers. Gets into a really good position, fullish in length, and just hits it on the up. Lovely extension of the arms. His placement is perfect.
Nobody's going to catch that, despite the shouts of catch it. Couple of bounces and over the rope for 4. Doolan in on the action now.
Shane Watson's got a bit of a problem if he's fit for the second test, because Doolan finds himself 64 not out. Marsh gets 100 in the first innings. Interesting to see what Australia do with Watson being their fourth seamer.
Tough shot. Got to the pitch, got all of it. Doolan, and he's got it away for 6 to end the over. 197 for 1.
Brave, confident. Down the wicket, there's a long on in place, and he's all the way back on the boundary. Doolan happy to take him on. Alvaro Peterson just stood and watched it go all the way.
Say. No. That's Rob.
Got him. Went straight on, he played for the turn and it's found the edge. And Graham Smith takes a smart catch. So Warner's gone for a really well played 115. A good innings to watch.
And a very important knock for his team. No spin there, just the outside edge found, and Graham Smith takes a pretty good catch. Difficult at times with standing and slip all day and nothing happening, and then when it does come you hold on. It takes great concentration. Great knock though. Australia 206 for 2. It might just be coincidence as we watch the century maker from the first innings Marsh get to the crease, but just the last couple overs, last 3 overs or so, we have seen Graham Smith think out the field, moving around the field a bit, putting some fielders in some unorthodox positions, having 6-3 field, 6 on the onside, and even when his fast bowler Dale Steyn was bowling, a 5-4 field with 5 on the onside, just doing something different, and he has taken a wicket. You know, you don't just sit back and relax when your back is against the wall and just wait on things to happen. Doesn't necessarily mean that if you change the field around you will take wickets, but it just gives the batsman something else to think about.
Short leg in now. Nobody at deep backward square. Man catching offside. Short cover, short mid wicket as well. End of a successful over for South Africa. 206 for 2.
A little bit testing for left-handers against the left armour over the wicket, because there's a little bit of rough for him to work with. So Warner plays for that turn, for the ball to spin out the rough, but it doesn't. Goes straight on, outside edge is found. And is it just me, or did David Warner hang around for a decision?
He's entitled, isn't he? No?
Those 3 there, most unusual for a left-hander. The only other man on the offside is there at mid-off, which suggests that, whoa, that's quick. Steyn really charging in at Shaun Marsh. And you've got to remember that even if you've made 148 in the first innings, you are starting again.
Good delivery. Well directed, short pitch ball under the armpit. So that is definitely going to hurt. Unusual field setting, but it does show that South Africa, they've had a look at where he scores during the first innings, and they're trying to make things more difficult for him second time round.
Continue with Robin Peterson and Doolan on 81 on debut. 19 away from 100 on debut in a test match, an important test match against the #1 team in the world. Shaun Marsh just coming to the crease, battling away on a single. Robin Jackman with a view that many bowlers worldwide would endorse. Don't know what you want us to do now, Jack, as you've just floated it, really, haven't you?
Well, yeah, anybody out there who happens to be listening, you know, you can give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down. No, not really. No, I just think it's a subject that we will continue to discuss ad infinitum. And you know, there's a lot of us, if not all, that feel that if the ball is hitting the stumps and there's a not out decision, that the fielding side, who would obviously ask it to be reviewed, shouldn't lose their review, because they haven't really made a mistake. That's up in the air, but it's going to land safely just over the head of Amla. You know, the fielding side haven't got it wrong, so why should they lose a review?
Well, Alex Doolan got it wrong here. This is a real risk to try to hit out of this rough. You simply can't judge the amount of spin or the bounce. And he's choosing to stay leg side of the ball, which is unusual, instead of coming at the ball and trying to meet it at the pitch. And on 81 on debut, there's an element of risk to that. Now there's a short leg in, 2 men on the drive, both leg side and offside, as well as the slip.
Oh.
Much better from South Africa, creating more pressure. Alex Doolan has had a good test match, batted well in the first innings as well. Came in under pressure there, came in early in the second. So he's had a terrific game so far. Be even better if he can get to that 100.
Let's go.
213 for 2. In fact, the drinks are coming on with a lead of 404. The Australians 213 for 2. That's good stroke. That's picked the gap and was hit really, really well controlled, actually. He sort of swiveled with the stroke and hit down on it. 218 for 2.
Clever batting. He's watched the ball very closely. He hasn't bounced much. He's had to keep looking at it. He's expecting this to get up round about waist height, and he's had to do exactly as Mark's just described and almost come down on the ball. And he's found the gap as well. Well played.
Those are the Australians to come. Michael Clarke we know about, Steve Smith we're learning about, Brad Haddin did fearful damage to England, Mitchell Johnson showed in this first innings here what strokes he has at his disposal. And that's one of Marsh's best strokes. He's a brilliant back cutter of the ball.
Magnificently played. Played it very late. He was right over the top of that. Just placed it beautifully. Allowed the ball to come to him. Kept it a bit low as well. He watched it so well.
Now a little shimmy of the feet and he picks the gap at mid-wicket. And does he get all of it? Yep, he gets all of it.
Quite brilliant, yet again. This time, good use of the feet. Didn't try and overhit that. Kept his head in the shot all the way through.
He was so quick to get down the wicket. He's allowed the ball to be released before he made his move, and then he was fast.
Oh, that'll run away to the boundary. Probably off inside edge. Yeah, off inside edge. Marsh has now got going. He's got himself to 19, and just from 20 balls faced, 2 boundaries, a 6 as well.
Carrying on the good work from the first innings, and that's good for Australia as well, because when he came in there wasn't that much time left tonight, but he's got into his stride quickly. He's kept the run rate going, and that's allowing Alex Doolan to work calmly towards that century.
Doolan on the dreaded Australian number, 87. I wonder if that might be in his mind, or it'll certainly be. I don't know what the Aussies do in England on Nelson. We used to have to get our feet off the ground. I don't know whether Australia do anything strange like that when they get to that number. He's not facing at the moment.
Yes, that was an animation made famous by the umpire David Shepherd, who used to stand at square leg and skip, take little hops and jumps and get those feet off the ground when the score was totaling 111.
He's got him. He's got him. Slid across from around the wicket, JP Duminy. And he throws his head back. Doolan doesn't get to that 100. So close.
Yeah, Duminy is starting to earn the reputation of being the man with the golden arm. He comes on, first delivery of his spell, gets the outside edge. Let's have a look, no problem with the front foot there whatsoever. He's well behind. It's not the greatest delivery, I think JP Duminy would admit to that. It's dragged down in length. Doolan goes back to cut it, gets the outside edge. Good catch by de Villiers. They're never easy when you're up to the stumps, and unfortunately for Doolan, a wonderful vigil has come to an end. He played superbly well. He goes for 89. Australia 2-4-3 for 3.
He is quickly out to the middle, the Australian captain, Michael Clarke.
Yeah, amongst the best in the world. David de Villiers is up there. Michael Clarke, you'd have to say Virat Kohli. He's up right up towards the top of the pile. And Kumar Sangakkara would be another, on the top of the pops. So this is the Doolan to Smith, just skidding through and getting an under edge. A nice take by de Villiers.
As the wicket, I think Doolan's eyes probably would have lit up. He thought there was an opportunity to pick up a boundary. He gets the edge, and unfortunately he's on his way.
Yes.
Well, having the captain out in the middle, he'll be dictating exactly what pace he wants this innings to go, exactly how many runs he wants and when he's looking to declare, and it certainly won't be today. My feeling is he'll want a little bit of a crack at the South African openers for about 40 minutes before lunch tomorrow.
Oh man.
Well, he's got heaps of runs. And this innings is going at a really good pace. 4.22 is the scoring rate. .245 for 3.
Jackson.
A miss hit for 4. 250 up.
Showing some clear intent is Michael Clarke down the wicket. He's only been there for just 4 deliveries before this one. Great use of the feet. Gives himself a little bit of room. Just punches it over the top. Couple of bounces and away for a boundary.
Well, this man never gives in. Dale Stoney always got something in the tank, whether it's right at the beginning of the day or the end of the day. He'll scurry in and bowl with great aggression, try to make something happen. He knows that even getting Clarke out at this stage of the game, it's a psychological edge he'll have over Clarke going into the series. It's not just about now, it's about what's going to happen throughout the Test series.
I think it's a game plan that they would have talked about, and we saw in the first innings of the Ashes at Brisbane it worked successfully, and Michael Clarke bounced out first innings here by Dale Steyn, and all of a sudden you've got two men back, you've got a short leg in place, a wide mid-wicket, a man at third man, so it's going to be short bowling he's going to receive. And he deals with that well. Doesn't get up at all, just flicks it off the hip, and he'll go away for a boundary.
Big bar is given. Generally is the one who's got to spark him into action. The South Africans, Dale Steyn. And we're talking, was at the start of the day. Tom, thinking back to that India series, that test match in Durban, South Africa under pressure, big pressure. And it was him who turned up with the spell of fast bowling that, oh, it was great to watch. Short stuff, field set for it. It really is good to watch when he's going. And it's most times that he is. It's gone fine. There's a man been put there, leg gully, but it's beaten him and gone for 4.
From a batsman's point of view, all you can do is just show courage and ride through this difficult period. And Michael Clarke just nicely controlling that, waiting on it, not getting too far ahead of it, just waiting on it, controlling it, keeping it down. But that's all you can do is weather the storm. You know the storm's there, it'll be there for about 30 minutes, possibly 40 minutes, but you just need to weather that storm. Or sweep a full toss for 4 when it's presented.
That's what he's so good at. He judges the line, the length, latches on anything loose. This one from Peterson over pitch, full toss. There we go. Adjusts, middle of the bat, knows where the fielders are, knows if he middles it, there's no chance of any danger. And he picks himself up a boundary.
No, mate. Let's go.
And of the over, 265 for 3. That's exactly what the doctor ordered if you're Australia. 265 for 3, another good batting performance. Is Steyn.
Now that's bounced a little bit. Again, something off a crack. There's a couple of spots there. We've been talking a bit about it. It's gone away for another boundary. It's going to make some of the batsmen just think a little bit harder about the work they're going to have to do against some of the Australian seamers.
And when the momentum is with you, it falls into a vacant area. When it's against you, first slip, runs back and probably ends up taking a great catch. Sean Marsh in the first innings of Graham Smith.
That's gone away very comfortably for 4. That's a beautifully controlled shot.
The thing is, the line at which Peterson is bowling. Look how wide above stump this is. There is no way a batsman is going to hit a ball from that wide above stump and get it to deep behind square leg. Those two men out deep. Now he's moving him now. The deep backward square leg is now coming a lot squarer.
Australia look like they've got a lot of bases covered.
Not too sure Graham Smith will be too keen about Morne Morkel going round the wicket for too long, because that follow through of his will certainly do a bit of damage to the pitch. The right-handers off spinner bowling into that.
Get those size 12s and Mitchell Johnson running in the same area tomorrow. A couple of big plates of meat will certainly disturb the crust.
I'd be interested to know why you feel Australia have got all the boxes ticked. If you're referring to the scoreboard, yes, but with regard to their side, Hayes, and the reason I asked that question is because there's only one real change to the side since India 4-0. Can one player make that much difference to a team?
Yeah, I think oh, there's that. There's your favourite spot, boys. There it is. HD. Michael, take over.
That was a good shot down the third man, wasn't it? I know I'm biased. I know I was a fast bowler, but I hate to see people getting edges and being rewarded with boundaries. Come on.
Just going back to what you were saying, HD, I mean, there's no doubt that the one player has made a massive difference, but let's just not think about Mitchell Johnson. You've got Ryan Harris-Siddle. I guess what I'm saying also is that whatever surface they do look to prepare in Port Elizabeth, can't be a flat one, I wouldn't imagine. If they prepare something that's got a little bit of grass on it and a bit of activity, then that's going to delight the Australian seamers and, of course, the South African seamers. And anything that's going to turn and bounce later on is going to get Nathan Lyon extremely excited, and I would imagine if Graham Smith has to rely on the spin department, not so excited.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he plays this well. Gets up on his toes, it's high up on the bat, but that's well played. I'm not saying that Siddle and Harris aren't good bowlers, very fine bowlers, but he just sort of complements them well, doesn't he? In that he delivers the pace, which, I don't know, we talk about takes away the front foot of batsmen and makes their movement. They're a little unsure in their movement, and then that assists the likes of Siddle and Harris. 68 gone, 286 for 3.
And throw in the hostility and the aggression and all that sort of package. I mean, it makes a massive difference. When you've got a fast bowler who's bowling 150 k's per hour plus, which is what he was doing, and can bowl the sort of deliveries that he did to Faf du Plessis in the first innings, when that would get the best in the world out. I mean, it makes a massive psychological difference to the team, and the captain knows what you can deliver. And just to continue that conversation, in my mind, it was Mitchell Johnson who was the big difference. Obviously in Australia, I mean, lots of comments about the best fast bowling attack in world cricket from the victorious Australians. Best fast bowler in world cricket at the moment. I think that was the difference rather than the best bowling attack. It was all Mitchell Johnson. There was a fear factor there. There's no doubt about it. And I'm sure there's going to be a few South African batsmen throughout the rest of the series are still going to be severely tested.
I think it sits from a batting front as well. I think when you walk in as a batsman knowing that you've got a big fast bowler in the hut, it gives you confidence. You know, when someone's running in and bowling at you, you also know, well, we can dish this out as well. We don't have to just be on the receiving end. We don't have to be on the receiving end all the time.
Absolutely. But your boys felt that, Mikey?
Just a tad. You're talking about Mitchell Johnson being the one man. Can you imagine having 3 or 4 in your team?
Yeah, that's far from ideal from 22 yards.
Oh.
Yeah, other than the West Indies, Mikey, the cricketing world didn't want to be reminded of that. It was a frightening era, a wonderful era. I was old enough to watch that, Mike.
Your dad would have told some stories, I'm sure, HD.
I used to watch it on a VHS cassette.
Yes.
I remember the days when Mike used to have the afro. They were special, Mike.
I watched him on a video called A View from the Box with Brian Johnston. Remember Brian Johnston, Test Match Special? It showed Proctor's 4 in 5 balls for Gloucestershire. It showed Holding's wonderful summer against England. It wasn't quite like that, was it, Hayes?
Not quite.
I think it would take about 8 years to grow my afro at this stage of my life.
It's a bit like that, Mike. It was a little bit like that one.
Last the ball.
Two runs from that over. 288 for 3 it is. Feels like a few more. And that is stumps on day 3. What a terrific day for Australia. They'll be very pleased with this performance. getting the last 4 wickets. Early today, there's Luke. He's waving that Australian flag as he does so often around the world. They can be extremely pleased with that. Let's have a look at the run rate in this session, over 4. So that's impressive stuff. And just losing a couple of wickets. So really good stuff again from Shaun Marsh. He finishes after a good knock. The skipper's there as well, and the South Africans will certainly be feeling it. They've been in the park for 69 overs now, a long time in the first innings as well, and they've been trying to play catch-up as best they possibly can. Okay, so let's have a look back at the summary of this first test match at Stumps on day 3. Australia being invited to bat by Graham Smith after he won the toss, 397, a couple of centurions there, Marsh and also Smith. Steyn wasn't well, but he still picked up 4 wickets. South African reply, 206. De Villiers, magnificent for 91. Johnson was absolutely sensational, 7 for 68. And Australian reply now sitting pretty, 288 for 3. Warner got another 100, and South Africa are certainly struggling, and Australia are 479 runs ahead at Stumps on day 3.
This is a presentation of Fox Sports.